Good morning, everybody. Today is celebrating 50 years of life today, and I'm 72 the architect, aka Jason B. And stay tuned, and I'm going to talk about exactly what 50 years has been like. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rise and Grind in the Morning, 72 the architect. And today is my birthday, so I wanted to celebrate it a little bit with everybody out there. So if you're listening live or recorded, I definitely appreciate you. Also, producing live to the Wisdom app. So shout out to Wisdom. They are officially, I believe, a year old today. So shout out to them. And just getting the day started. So here we are. So what has been 50 years of life? A lot. I have seen where, excuse me, I've seen where fashions drastically changed. I've seen politics. I've seen music. I've seen people come and go. There's just really a lot to say, so to speak. And what I would definitely would say about 50 years is at this point today, how I wanted to evaluate and look back at my life is not to look at anything bad, really, but to take in consideration the trials, the tribulations. So, not just what I've been through, but what I accomplished through. And in my lifetime, I've got the beautiful experience of working in some amazing places. I've had the ability to serve our nation, in the United States Navy. I have had the pleasure of being a competitor in sports, being a friend, a good networker, so on and so forth. So I have literally done so many things and made so many accomplishments. I've also had the accomplishment of scholastic and academia, I mean, getting degrees where my predecessors didn't really necessarily have the opportunity or had the time or the money. So I'm very grateful for that. And the other beautiful thing that I really want to say and talk about is the pleasure of being a dad. I have 3 wonderful daughters, and Alina, Annabella, and Valentina. You guys are my gems. You really are. And, excuse me, my throat's a little clogged up today. Well, anyhow, so what I would like to say is that, my kids, my legacy, the people that I've affected, good and bad, it's all been an amazing, amazing experience. And what I would definitely tell people is that what being 50 has taught me, and now as of and just the whole encompass is patience. And patience is a big thing. Patience, it just gives the good rise to your life. It gives you a place to see everything in sometimes it's full light and sometimes a delay. So if there's one aspect of life that I would definitely say in 50 years would definitely be that patience has been the one thing that was the toughest lesson, the best lesson, and the most rewarding lesson of all. Because even still to this day, I still work at it. I still push at it. I still try. I don't, you know, I don't stop, and the people I've come from. So the first person I got to get, or first people I got to give credit to are my parents, Michael and Roberta Barajas. And Barajas. That's my last name, and I don't let it out too often. But you know what? Today is my special day, and I have no reservation about my identity, which that was something that I was afraid of and afraid to share. But my parents, my dad is Mexican, my mom's Irish. My mom went through a lot to make sure that, excuse me, my mom has gone through a lot to provide as much as she could for me and my brother and my sister. My father wasn't always there, but my father did make imprints, good and bad, and my father did make he shed wisdom, and I got to understand parts of him. Like when I turned 35, I've forgiven him for all the things that we went through, and just learning a different light about my father. So, he's living in Arizona. He's happy. He's doing his thing, and I appreciate it. And then, my kids, like I said, Alina, you're growing up to be such an amazing, beautiful, wonderful woman, you know, and I'm so proud of you. And yes, I'm sorry that I haven't been there as much. Then there comes my daughter, Annabella or Bella. Bella has been such a big imprint. Bella helped me realize the time and effort that it takes to put into being a dad. You can't just say a dad, be a dad. But with Bella, she has taught me a refined presence and persistence of action to be there. And then there is my my little princess, Valentina. Excuse me. Valentina has literally shined light in my eyes, and they all have special aspects of all of them. And I couldn't, you know, say that one's more valuable than the other, but Valentina has taught me, and sometimes I see a reflection of myself being understood, expressing, being able to be sensitive and to be able to apply things to your life. So, oh, I have a visitor over on the wisdom side. I have Carla Figaro. Okay. I'll bring you up for a moment. So, and if you're on live on YouTube, you can make comments. You want to wish birthday, and I'll post the comments. Good morning, Carla. What can I do for you?
Grand Rising. I actually just came to say happy birthday and to commend you for making this a day for yourself of gratitude. Blessings.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you. And just real quick, are you brand new to wisdom or to the podcasting movement?
I'm fairly new to wisdom, yes. Only been on here a few weeks. I think
Okay.
this is my third week, I believe. Yeah.
Hmm.
So enjoying meeting new people, insights with others, and um, just the ability to be able to learn things from other people.
Nice,
Um,
nice. I see you're a
Also,
United
what
States
you're talking
Air Force
about,
veteran. So thank you for your service.
yes, thank you so much for acknowledging that. I appreciate it.
As a veteran, I'll call it out when I see it myself. I mean, I spent a few years in the Navy, in service. So I definitely a shout out, to our men and women who
Well,
serve in all capacities.
we thank you as well. I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of commitment it actually takes to be a service member and how much you have to give of yourself in order to do it. So, um, as joint members, we acknowledge each other, and it's always appreciated when those who do not serve acknowledge us as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate. Is there anything you'd like to add? No.
I just listening to what you were saying about your children and how much they have given to your lives. Children, oh, it's amazing what a blessing they are, and how much they show you about yourself as you're growing with them.
Hmm.
Um, because that's exactly what you do. You're not grown and then you're watching your child grow. You're actually growing with your child. Um, and in that growing, we are learning so much about ourselves. They are so much of who we are, even when we don't give birth to them. Um, they feed off of the energy that we give to them, and they're surrounded with. And so they teach us every day how to make adjustments, how to love more, and
Hmm.
we're very blessed to have children in our lives. Those of us who do.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And my kids have taught me more about being an adult than me realizing how much of an adult I was already. But my kids in the situations, they just help formulate and sharpen my own tools, my own intelligence, my own empathy, recognizing my own emotions, all those things, my kids. So thank you so much, Carla. I'm going to be continuing off my show, and thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Mm-hmm. All right, getting back. So, like I said, my kids, my daughter Valentina, I for the last 6 months, I've spent time with her, formulated time, And she's like I said, it's like looking in a mirror sometimes, you know, and not to say that I don't see myself in all my kids. And like I said, not anyone more special, but she's going to be the last child I have. I mean, I'm 50. I can't have any more kids, honestly. So, so yeah, so every one of them has had a big imprint on me. And then I've got to give a lot of credit to the special lady in my life. And excuse me, I'm getting choked up just by even thinking about her. So, 7 years ago, I met probably the most amazing woman in my life, and just whew, like the experience alone to have a partner who has seen you at your worst and to see you, you know, probably at your best and still stick by you. And my girl Adriana is she's just the biggest part of my world. And she's probably the first one to catch me in my bullshit and the first one to cheer me on. The first one to confront me on a real way where I can understand. And my partner, my future wife, you know, I just couldn't say how amazing she has been. And I've been through so many relationships. And that's another thing. Relationships, I didn't really start dating until I was like probably 21. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22. Uh, but I went through a lot of mishaps and choices that taught me more about living and how to love, how to appreciate the now. And above all the people that I've ever been with, my partner has definitely taught me more about now than later. And I was one of those guys who always said, "Well, you know what? When I get married, I'm gonna have such an amazing life." And she kinda helped me just realize it's not about when you get married. It's about the now. It's about what we have together. It's not about the houses, the cars, the professions, all that stuff. So, one thing I can tell you about, 50 years of experience, the way that you love from when you're 20 to now to 50 is a huge difference. And not to say that those people weren't valuable in my past because they were. They were very, very valuable. To definitely tell people that, you know, everyone, whether I did a bad choice or good choice, they helped me become a better person. And I think about that. And so, definitely, you know, she's watching right now. Um, a lot of people will come in and out of your life all the time. But the people that really ride or die, the ones that really it's kind of like going through the trenches in the military and you're crawling through mud and everything, and they're right there with you. You can't hide, and I've lived a lot of my life trying to appeal, trying to please, trying to call it, just measure up. And she was the first person who ever said, "You don't need to measure up to me, measure up to yourself." Good morning, Lois. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm gonna do this. I don't do this often, but happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jason. Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Happy
thank you
birthday,
so
man. This
much.
is a milestone, man.
It is a
Hey,
milestone.
I remember when that was a long time ago now. But I remember when that 50 hit, it was a lot of thinking about it, reflecting and all that kind of stuff as to where I am and where I want to be. And I was still battling the disease in my body and now here it is 11 years later. That 50 marked a big change for me.
Mhm.
And I was already changed. You know what I mean? It's like it fostered in a lot more, because when I took time to do a self-assessment, I saw more things that I could change. And I can say this to you because I've watched you on this app. I've watched you since December. Okay. I watch you grow. I watch you put your guard down. I watch you come on here raw in the middle of your breakup, and not knowing what end is going to be up and how you were going to turn and which way to turn, and just trying to work it out. And then I watch you work it out and heal in real time. And that's the shit right there. Healing in real time, because you opened your mouth. You didn't just stoically stuff it. Okay, because I know you talk about stoicism a lot, but you didn't stoically stuff that. You came on this app and you talked about what you were going through, and you heard other people's journeys, and I'm just so proud of you, man. I am proud of you, man. You're another one of my brothers from another mother. You just don't know it. You're just gonna standoffish. That's all. But but I love you, and I just hope you have most wonderful, wonderful year in this 50th, and it's that the second half is better, much better, and more prosperous than the first half, because I know you're already successful in what you're doing with your podcast and your, and I'm gonna say attorneyhood.
Yeah.
That's a new word. But yes, I just wanted to get that to you because you're a great person, and you brought a lot to this app. And like I said, and I listen to you, and some of the stuff that you say says it tells me, hey, you're putting too much emotion on that. So you have had a profound effect on some of the way that I think about some things too. And I just wanted to come and give you that, especially on your birthday and on the birthday of wisdom as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Lois. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, like the second half, like I was thinking about this January 1, I really started thinking about reflection. And I was like, wow, I kept on talking about it. I'm going to turn 50 this year. Wow. Like even my own grandfather, my mom's dad, I don't think he lived past 50. I think he died at a younger age. And I still think 50 is a pretty young age. And, like when I look at myself, even on camera, I mean, yeah, I see a little age. I see a little bit of, I call it the experience hairs. It's like I've got a goatee and you can definitely see some of my gray, but the youth in your mind is really about the curiosity, the value you bring. And sometimes I am standoffish, sometimes I am very hard. But there are other times where I'm very warm, and there are people that I reach, and then I get on the privilege to talk to people like yourself. And I think that we're
Well,
kind
thank
of
you.
struck from the same cloth, because one thing I know about you, Lois, and the props that I'll give to you is, there's no bullshit. It's just, this is what I
Mm.
am. I don't need to be anything other than what I am. And that's probably the most powerful statement anyone can say, is once someone says I am, and I can say that you embody that statement, I can say that you act by it, you do it. So, your time, your attention, I appreciate it. And I do listen, like when you go up on somebody's stage. So I definitely appreciate it. So thank you so much, Lois, for coming up and just sharing a moment with me. I appreciate that.
No,
So
no problem. No. And standoffish is not a bad thing, because the thing is, it's what makes you you. And I like, and I'm gonna tell you this: I like you. I like you in the logical stoic sense, and I like you in the emotional sense. I like you in all the sense. I love you, my brother. Okay,
thank you.
because you are you, and you're unashamed of being you. You're gonna be you regardless of what anybody else say. And when you're wrong, I'm gonna say this, because people may not know this. When you're wrong, I've watched you come back and promptly admit it. So, man, can't nobody beat you being you, Jason. Just be you.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just be you, man. And I love you, man. I just wanted to come up and say happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so
I
much.
know
You're the
you didn't
first one to
sign up
sing
to
it to
do.
me today. So, I'm known for singing to people on their birthday, randomly. And, even I,
Oh,
you know,
well, see, it came back.
yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Lois. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to my
You're welcome.
recording. So we'll see you next time. All right.
All right,
Definitely look forward
all
to
right,
talking to
all
you
right,
again. All right.
all right. Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Bye. All right. So getting right back into the show. And that's another example. One thing I can tell you about being 50 or turning 50 is the level of maturity that you gain eventually, and if you allow it and you accept it, and like Lois was saying, there are times where I've shared very vulnerable things, from the struggle, sometimes in a relationship or struggles with my kids. Um, and I'm very careful about the details that I really give out because I do have to protect my loved ones' identities. But one thing I will tell you is that, um, why I gravitate towards stoicism, really stoicism is kind of like being like a Jedi master. Really, you're for if you're a Star Wars fan, and what it does is it helps you understand your emotions and helps you understand how you portray your emotions so that you can be a better person. You know, I for a lot of my life, I've been a fighter. I either fighter with my fists or a fighter with my mind. I've argued with people, good and bad. I've represented myself poorly. I've done all these things that maybe weren't so great about me. But then I also come back, and this is one thing I will tell you. Um, Coming up from how I grew up, you know, I would have the next big word that means a lot to me is grit. You know, grit will really sharpen. It's kind of like sandpaper on your personality and your person. It kind of just it chisels and smooth things out. It really does. Grit is something that it's not easily come by. It's something that you're going to earn. Grit is something that's developed, because it changes as you get older, and the experiences that you share with people. So, definitely, I would say that grit is like it's like the finishing, refining tool to yourself that you're going to go through in life, and that means, like, not about the heartaches, but also the good moments to know, like, when you're on the high and you're peaking, you're doing the absolute best, never to forget, never to let that get to your head, too much. That's one thing I can tell you is, like, sometimes I've bragged my ass off and I've just done all this and then or been brought back to reality and say, "Hey, you ain't all that." So I can definitely tell you that, grit has definitely been one of those things that has refined me. I've learned to. I'm a great speaker. I'm gonna give myself my own pat on the back because when I first started podcasting about 5 years ago, I was an okay speaker. But what I did realize this year, especially, is the flow of my speech, how I'm attentive to people, how I'm curious, how I want to invite people, how that experience wants to expand and not just be so selfish and just try to earn respect from people, but knowing that I respect the now. And so Stoicism also allows me to understand people and not to judge them so harshly. And so my new philosophy in life is I really take pride in this, and I say, you know, greet in hospitality, meet in hospitality, leave in hospitality. And long as you do that, a lot of things will work out for you. So that's a huge thing. So hospitality and gratitude are the next two words that really mean something a lot to me. And like I said, patience is also, it's just up there. Like I said, I remember, like, even recently, me and my girl, we watch, uh, like, reruns of The Love Boat. I've been visiting eras, I've lived through 5 decades, 5, 10 years at a time. I can tell you what the '70s were like. I can tell you what the '80s were like. I can tell you what the '90s, the 2000s, and here it is, the 2020s. We're just beginning. And I've seen the people be at their worst and predictions of the world's going to end, the sky is falling, to this is such a glorious time to be alive. This is such an amazing opportunity. And so for me to be able to express um gratitude and living right now here on you, and this is going to be here as long as YouTube is accessible, as long as there's power, there's the internet. My kids will have a place to not only hear me but see me, and as well as my partner. And I'm not looking to say that I'm going to expire. I'm just definitely saying that I know exactly what it means, to be me, and to accept me, and have and take honor and respect. Those are very, very big things. This part of my life, I think when I was trying to like earn so much respect and people pleasing, um, I'm abandoning that, and it's a huge movement in my own life. Um, I'm not so worried about being the rule keeper or the rule maker. I'm not worried about the rules. I'm interested in flow. I'm interested in, you know, um, refining my speaking. I want to take this experience and grow with people and help people say, hey, it's not all that bad. Like all I'm hearing nowadays, we hear about nuclear possible war, financial crisis. We hear the energy of people just going down. And, like last night, me and my girl were watching this movie called Mother. And it was a metaphor um, for life about God, Mother Nature, and how we kind of trash things and make things and reset things, and it just kind of had a little effect on me that I was like thinking I'm all, some of the characters I was like, this cannot be God because God is above all the emotions. He has them all, or he or she. I don't know. I don't think God's really a man or a woman. It's just it's it, you know. And I see it as a personal energy ball. But that's another thing in my lifetime. I've gone through so many spiritual transitions. I've gone through, I was raised as a Methodist and a Catholic at the same time. My dad being Catholic, my mom being Methodist. I became a Christian at 15 or 16. I was rebaptized. And then I've watched myself mature and grow out of these labels in churches. But spirituality has always been a part of my life. And spirituality has also allowed me to understand that things come in seasons and reasons. And you just have to be able to appreciate as they do and not to pray as a hope like a quarter in a wishing well, but pray as to you're asking for something, you appreciate everything and you're willing to share, as much as you can. So, and I've gone through that transition of like learning about the laws of attraction, learning about Buddhism. I learned about Islam a lot in this year. I've learned about other people's perspectives. Um, I learned how to be of service and appreciate being of service. These are things that you're going to encounter whether you want to accept it or not. But I've also come across real abundance. And let me tell you, when you start letting abundance live through you and for you and you share, is very, very important, and matter of fact, I read something in the Daily Stoic, uh, and matter of fact, I'll share you yesterday's Daily Stoic, and it really made an effect on me, by Ryan Holiday's book, The Daily Stoic, and Stephen Hanselman. And yesterday, it's for October says is looking out for each other. And this is really, I'm glad that I read it yesterday. It says, it's in keeping with nature to show our friends affection, to celebrate their advancement as if it were our very own. For if we don't do this, virtue, which is strengthened only by exercising your perceptions, will no longer endure in us. And Ryan Holiday goes on to describe on his page 299, he says, watching other people succeed is one of the toughest things to do, especially if we are not doing well ourselves. In our hunter gatherer minds, we suspect that life is a zero sum game and that for someone to have more means than we might end up with less. But like all parts of philosophy, empathy and selfishness are a matter of practice. As Seneca observed, it's possible to learn to rejoice in their success and be moved by their every failure. This is what virtuous persons do. They teach themselves to actively cheer for other people, even in case where they might come at their own expense. And to put aside jealousy and possessiveness, you can do that too. So the question of daily stoicism says, who else can I root for other than myself? And in my personal experience with rooting for other people and being of service, it comes back to me. I've got, business and clients and things coming in where I was like, man, this is all falling apart in my face. The economy's going like shit. Gas prices are going up. But when I stopped worrying about those things and I stopped entertaining and talking with people with idle time, I really, really, um, I really started appreciating my life more and how I could touch people, how I can inspire people. And that's one thing I will do. I will come into talking with you. If you are having a dark moment, I'm not going to kick you down. I'm going to be like, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to look at you and I'm going to appreciate you. I know what it's like to not feel like no one cares. But when you start worrying about who cares about you and more about how you care for others, it's reciprocal. And that's the Daily Stoic is a great example. Now I do cheer people on. I am very happy for the people around me that succeed. And when I do this, there's this magical effect that comes back and it blesses me instead of curses me. And trust me, I've done enough bad things to in my own mind to measure that how bad I have done. And what I can tell you is that I also now start remembering the good. How I, like here's something about my personal life, and I don't share it with many people. Me and my girl, we don't necessarily live together right now. And we haven't for uh probably 4 years. And my little one's gonna turn 5 in a few weeks. But there are so many nights, and this is not bragging, but this is really by driving 30 miles and 30 miles back, 60 miles a night, you know, every day, or pretty much most every day, taught me it's like, now I know who I want to be with. Now I know the cost. I would have given up a long time ago had it not been for the enriching experience to appreciate what you get from others and what you cheer. And that's where I give my girl another credit, how her and her family kind of like helped me realize by doing for others without being asked or bragging about or showing it off. They really kind of made an imprint. And that's how also I've been changing my life, you know. So this last year and a half in podcasting alone, it's transitioned to where I'm not interested in just trying to give people advice, but to be of service and to share the experience that I have and experience being of service, which leads to some of the adventures that, yeah, I've served in the United States Navy. I joined, what was it? I think it was June 30th, 1991 or so 92. God, it's been a long time. Anyhow, and I had the pleasure of serving. And then I also, after I got out of the Navy, I got to go work in some amazing places. Yeah, I got to work in Yosemite National Park, one of the most beautiful, amazing national parks in the United States. It's world renowned. People come just to see Yosemite Falls, Half Moon, was it Half Dome, El Capitan, and the hikes and the adventures. But I got to see animals. I got to see nature in different seasons. And then I got to do some fun stuff too. Like I didn't know how to snow ski the first year I got there, but I fell in love with snow skiing. And then just being me, committing to wanting to master something. I went skiing every day, even if it was an hour. I worked 8 hours and then I'd ski 1 hour and I took lessons and I got so good. And then the next year I got invited. I got invited to try out to be a ski instructor in Yosemite National Park at Badger Pass's ski resort, which was one of California's first ski resorts. Now they've changed the names. I don't know why. I think it's a legal battle, but the experience of serving people, teaching them something that I really enjoy and love. And then, you know, I've got to enjoy other things, traveling. I was a waiter for a long time, and being a server taught me how to listen to people and to be of service, to be able to read needs and wants and hints and cues. So that experience alone, and then, stepping up and leaving that, that to my past, working in the legal field and seeing people with real problems, real issues, being attentive to those things, being able to be their warrior. So the knight who's going to show up for you and battle out, and just either the information I was going to supply to someone else who was going to be either counsel that was going to help someone else. So I've been, a part of the good side and the bad side, I guess you could say, but I've definitely been a part of that. And then also, going through with the education, that was, like I said, education was a huge thing. And sometimes with the times the way you're going now, it's like you pay so much to be educated. And I have not once ever felt that it was for nothing. It's something that lives in me. And I can definitely say that I enjoy books. I was a guy probably, I don't know, 10 years ago who loved just to play video games only. And I found out that my love for reading, speaking has been a big experience. So yeah, and the musics too. That's the next part. I've seen music drastically change. I can remember when all you heard music was on vinyl records in the 70s. It was either stereo. I heard people like Billy Joel. I remember hearing about the Eagles, Linda Ronstadt, Stevie Nicks. I remember listening to Leonard Skinner. And like all these different bands. And then I also went into the 80s and seeing um 80s pop, rock, rap. I've seen the birth of these genres, and heard them, whether it's regular hip hop to gangster rap to spoken word. um I got to explore and see live concerts anywhere from Blues Traveler, Dave Matthews Band, Carlos Santana happened to be one of my favorite concerts. Seeing the Doobie Brothers and Steve Miller Band, seeing Bad Bunny in concert with my girl, first ever reggaeton concert I ever been to. And then there's a next love of my life. I love salsa dancing. I've been into salsa dancing for 20 years. That's right, 20 years I've been into it. Love the music. It was something that I fell in tune with, and expressing body with another person, sharing space, sharing a movement, a vibe, you know, and I remember a lot of my friends like appreciating that. So definitely there are things that I could definitely say that, that changed my life. Learning how to, like, I can tell you like some things about salsa dancing and bachata and cumbia and a lot of those other dances is they taught me about movement and reading another person, which is a very, very big key. Being able to read your partner, listen to the now, be a part of the now. That's what dancing. And if I learned to be a good lead, and that was the other thing. So um, that's another thing. And then also, I've got the pleasure of learning some martial arts along my way. I spent a year in jujitsu. I spent a couple years in Morse karate. So I learned kung fu and karate. I learned how to defend myself. And those were very valuable experiences because it taught me about how not to fight with people, really. Like being a badass is not, and being a hero does not appeal to me. And for so long it did, trying to be tough to be respected. But when you abandon those people pleasing things, then you really appreciate those experiences. So shout out to my instructors, my senseis, the maestros, and then that's the next part. I have had an amazing amount of teachers, young and old. Um, I've got to think like one professor I really got to thank who taught me so much about being a Mexican American, also being, as he would call it, Chicano. Um, what he would say, Pedro Ramirez. He was I remember he was my English teacher, advanced English in college, and he taught me the art about writing, really loving the art about writing and using your spoken word to on paper to create this whole world or this expression of yourself. And then also to follow him in Chicano literature, learning about these freedom fighters, these revolutionaries, these people who, and even who were fighters without being fighters. You're learning from Joe Serna, Cesar Chavez, Corky Gonzalez. I've had that pleasure of being a part of reading these people that I would have never known about. And it was because that, this is, I'm waiting. Okay. Hold on a second. Someone's sending me a message. But anyhow, being a part of knowing that identity, and then also learning about my other side, being Irish. It's a big part of me. They're two beautiful cultures that are so intertwined, so relatable. Uh, the warmest people, the best food, the liveliest musics that I've ever heard, the colors, the art. I've seen amazing art pieces by these artists, anywhere from looking at Diego Rivera's mural project in San Francisco at San Francisco City College, and being amazed by these epic murals. I've seen street art. I've come across famous people, musicians. I've met a few actors. I've made impressions to big speakers. I've got people to think with my presence, whether it's small or large. I've gotten to do these things, and I continue to strive to be of service. And it's like it's like me and my girl were talking just even the other day about me podcasting. It's like, this has been a journey. This has been a pleasure. It's trial and tribulation. So it's teaching me, like, I can handle being in my own skin. And you know how people talk about imposter syndrome? Well, you know what? I don't deal with it anymore. I've dealt with being an imposter. I've dealt with it and still working through it. But to say that it hasn't been a pleasure either, because rediscovering my voice, being patient. You can probably go and look up my old podcast. It was Good Vibes with Jason Bean. It's probably on Apple, and I was full of charge. So watching myself change dramatically in 5 or 6 years, with speaking alone, then also, being an athlete. You know, I remember I got to thank Coach Bob Baker when I was at Manteca High. Um, he believed me when I said I'm a champion. And I got to give credit to that, because it was also a very formative piece in my experience to prove physically, mentally, and spiritually all about these wonderful experiences, to be a champion, to be able to take losses and learn, to be able to achieve at the highest peaks of that age. I went to, and it was at 1990, I went to the San Antonio Junior Olympics. I competed in the 110 high hurdles and 400-meter hurdles, and I was a champion. I competed against people all across the nation at this level, you know. So it helped formulate, um, to be a competitor, to be a sportsman, to be empathetic. It taught me about how you can appreciate the competition and not be sour by others' accolades. And I really got to think that's where the Daily Stoic really kind of touched on today. It was like, can you cheer for others even in defeat? And that's not easy for anybody, so to speak. It's really not easy to cheer, like he said. But when you grasp on it, when you're a good competitor, my role models growing up were Jesse Owens, you know, who else? The guy who ran in Running Brave, Billy Mills, Edwin Moses, were my heroes. But then we're activists, like when I first heard Corky Gonzalez, hearing a recording of him speaking, I am Joaquin. That made a huge effect on me to appreciate even a brown skin. I've seen racism straight to my face. I've been discriminated against, but I never, and even by my own people, being brown, being hated on too for, like, hey, you're talking white, but I never let those coded qualifiers be something that took me down. What I could say is, and I still persist. I am Mexican American as much as I am Irish American, and I will tell you that I don't leave my identity behind categories. I'm above coded conversations. And I constantly tell people, like, look, I don't need to be sensitive. I don't need to fit in the box. I just need to flow. And I've gone through conversations and people accept me and then reject me too, because sometimes I give my opinions where it doesn't belong. But at the same time, I think about, the more I formulate this person that I am, is to make it purposeful, to make it intentional, that I become a better person. So, I've been saying it all week. I've been preparing this for months, but I said it and I'll say it on air. I have lived an experience of 50 years, and the next 50, God willing, I live 50 more years, are going to be even better than the first. And not to be comparative, but I no more just like kind of meekness or kind of not really solidness. I really am persistent about making me a better person, a better dad. There are people that I miss dearly. I miss my Alina and I miss Bella right now. And I can't see the two people that mean so much to me, but not to say that I don't appreciate what I already have with my little one. Being a dad, I got 26, 14, and 4. That's a big spread. And I've had to experience fatherhood in different ways, different stages, and being accountable for that. So when I create my podcast up, Man to Man, Voices and Stories, I purposely think about what men without experience who don't understand the feelings. I think about you because I was you and I am you. I know what it feels like when no one understands you and like what is the correct identity of being a man, but it's being able to celebrate without taking out pain on others or lashing out. I've literally shared I've had the experience where people who told me in a private DM, didn't know who they were. They said, "You know what? One of your talks saved my life." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I had to read it a couple times and I saved and I printed out and it's a special one of my journals and notebooks. That's right. And yes, I journal. I've been journaling for God since I was 16. I have a lot of books and looking through that experience, what I gone through, what I accomplished, what I believe in, how I changed, how I improved. These are things, and then the collaborations and the success. I got to give shout outs to all the people that I've ever recorded with or gone on their stage on Wisdom, from Kristen Brown, Daryl, Dio, um, Daniel Harp, even Marcella, who else? Graciela, um, let's see, Natalie, Sonia Sandera, Shaman Isis, Casey Blaze, Ryan Allen, Chris, Julie Olocum, Mina Athena. I mean, these are just a number of people that I've had the pleasure of being able to record with, get to know, and have their perspectives really alter some of mine in a good way. I have text conversations with my good friend Sonia, and we talk about, collaboratively how to work your product better when you're podcasting, how to produce, things that you could do, in all of that. So I can definitely tell you that you are not self-made. You are empowered by others. You are praised by others. You are built and shaped with others. And it's a global community. It's a global collective. I don't use that word too often. I don't like to be too woo-woo, but yeah, so I've had the pleasure of working and assisting people to reach their great heights. And yeah, and like I said, just seeing the experience, television, theater. Um, I've been to edges. I've climbed mountains. Yes, I've rock climbed. I can say that. I've jumped out of a perfectly good airplane with a parachute on my back. Yeah, I've done that. Jumped out in the ocean. I've been surfing. I've done lots of things. But every one of those things are just ingredients to right now. And I can tell you, if you're younger and you're really confused right now, the best piece of advice I could give you is let the experience feed you, not don't fight it. Even in the hardest moments where you're crying, you're just breaking up, um, you're not where you want to be. Just let that experience help shape you to where you need to be. Understand your needs versus wants. I used to be really, really bad with money. I blew money. I wasted money. I've been poor a lot of my life, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm rich and abundant. not just in my mind, but I'm becoming in my pocketbook. And it is an attitude, is an attitude of gratitude. When I have extra, I share it. I have no problems. I know I don't ask for nothing in return. When I'm being of service, I don't want nothing other in return, but other than consideration and your support. Matter of fact, I see somebody on over on YouTube who says, Lulu, hey, good to see you. Hey, Jason, liking the new setup. What does it say? Oh, you got this. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. So if you want to check me out on YouTube right now, and you want to leave comments, you can find me 72 the Architect or Rise and Grind with 72 the Architect, and more than likely you'll be able to find that stitch or that pathway. So thank you so much. Then I've got 3 live viewers on YouTube. So one thing I can also tell you about my experience is the joy of being shared with. I've had people invite me to their house, cook. Matter of fact, tonight, I'm gonna get to experience something I haven't gotten to experience in probably 3, 4 years. And I'm going to Epidus Steakhouse in San Francisco. It's one of my favorite restaurants in California, in San Francisco. It's a Brazilian steakhouse, and me and my girl, we probably discovered it maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I'm not really sure, but it's gonna be a place that I'm taking us out to, and just like, it's like, yeah, it's to us, I guess you could use the words fancy. It's not nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna enjoy that tonight. And we haven't been into San Francisco because we kind of consciously objected to San Francisco because of COVID restrictions. We were like, no, if you're gonna make us show a card, then we're not coming doing our business. Well, guess what? Things are changing. People are changing. People are stop being judgmental and afraid of each other. And that's a beautiful thing. When you can go back to a city that I did enjoy, I do enjoy. So that's one thing I can tell you. And that's right, like being able to travel around the world, that's been a pleasure. You know, Anywhere going from Japan, like Yokosuka, Japan, or going to Mexico, or many other places in the world, many other states. Um, the sights, the sounds, they all just come like it's like wow. And I feel grateful, every single day. Let's see, come up on the queue, empty. I want to sing. Oh, absolutely. If you want to come on up, Graciela, go right ahead. So that's the thing is like, the experience. And then now at 50, I think about a plan that's workable. That's right. My success, my goals are workable. And I can say before I reached this point, a lot of my goals were kind of like wishy-washy. They were kind of like an interest, but nothing really solid. But when I decided, I was like, no, this is what I'm going to become. This is what I'm going to do. And this is exactly how I'm going to do it. Just like in the laws of attraction, when you're crystal clear, it will happen. As they say, the universe will conspire um, to fulfill you. They will supply to your needs. But just remember, there's always an exchange. And it's been the most warming parts of spirituality that I could really understand because I'm a logical guy. Like I'll argue semantics about religions easy, no problem. Because I've seen what religions do to people. I see how they've hurt people and divide each other. And honestly, I'm a softy inside. I'm a loving man. I don't care what you come with. I don't care what you've heard over. I care about you as a person and how can I be of service. I care about, you know, being empathetic, being happy, being constructive, all these things um, are definitely pleasures in my life now. So, and it's kind of reminds me, I don't know if I heard in the Bible, it's like it talks about how, when I was a boy, I played with toys, but when I became a man, I put childish things away. And I can definitely say with full strength that I am a true man. I recognize, I embody it, I embrace it, I act it, and I take it as a great responsibility. I'm not trying to say I'm the role model, but I am a man. I'm not a boy. I'm not hoping to be a man. I am a man. In those moments where this is what I can say to you young guys out there. if you haven't said that to yourself and really recognize all in your beauty, your vanity, your strength, your honor, and look at yourself carefully and look at what you've done, regardless good or bad. I, you know, I am a man. I make pathways. I'm supportive. I'm resourceful. These are important aspects. And yeah, and that comes with mental struggles. I got to say thank you so much to the Veterans Affairs, the VA. I got to say thank you so much for all their resources and allowing me to get counseling. And I've got to thank a few counselors that have made us certain difference right now. Um, I have two, I have a psychotherapist and I have a family therapist. I have learned more about myself to be a better man now, not later, now. And they've helped me navigate. I've spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I've beaten my body up, beaten my mind up. But with their assistance, I've also regrown. I've bloomed in ways that I never knew possible. I recognize my voice. I recognize my eyes, my presence, everything that's magnificent about life. I'm not worried about heaven, I'm not worried about hell. I'm embracing the now. And that's what I could tell you is just like, I read ancient literatures, I read current people, I share people's businesses. I want to see you successful. There's room for all of us, so definitely want to say that. Well, anyhow, this is coming up to the close in the hour. If anyone else would like to come up, feel free on Wisdom if you're live. So if for those of you on YouTube, you can download this app called Wisdom, the Wisdom app on your app store, and you can find there. And I'm easily findable. I mean, I produce probably 2-3 times a week, easy. So if you haven't downloaded it, you want to check it out. But I'm also on YouTube, so you can check me out. And this is the big thing. I've been tagging everything myself correctly now. So I'm searchable. There's a lot of different Rise and Grind podcasts. Let me tell you, when I was looking yesterday, I was like, one of the guys from Shark Tank, Damon, I can't remember his last name, bald-headed guy who used to own Fubu, I believe. He has Rise and Grind. And there's like so many others, but I put Rise and Grind with 72 the Architect, and that's how you can find me in my channel. So, and I like 72 the Architect because it's a stage name that I really like. And what does it mean? People have asked me, where does 72 come from? Is that your birthday? Yes, it is. However, 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 is a dynamic number. And the prime of 9 is 3. A trinity. That's body, mind, and spirit. And that trinity of understanding of a living person is an amazing, amazing thing. And the architects, traditionally people think, oh, they just design buildings. No, they're builders of society. They're building a flow. Let's see. What does Lulu say? It doesn't matter what age you are, as long as you are living for today and making a difference for yourself and others right away. Thank you so much, Lulu. I definitely appreciate you. But anyhow, so there are things that I can tell you that, sometimes you got to enjoy the ride when it's painful and appreciate the ride when it's fun. Like, like, let me tell you about an experience this year that was so fun. Um, we were at Disneyland back in June, and it was like I think it was the last day that we were in Disneyland last night, and I love that ride, Splash Mountain. Well, my little one loves roller coasters, loves the rough rides, as what she was able to get on a lot of rides. And my little one, there's a picture that we have together where where she's in front, I'm holding on to her, and I'm like, woohoo! And it was like me reliving the joy of riding something exciting for the first time. Being able to take care of my family and appreciate. And I've had other experiences with my other kids too, like the warm experiences with Bella, going to Disneyland and things like that. And seeing my kids and the joy in their faces, you know, not just as their father, not just as I'm really not interested in being too much of a disciplinarian. I'm really interested in being to helping them shape their young minds into being adults. Oh, I got Daryl coming in. Good morning, Daryl. In 3, 2, 1. Daryl, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Whoa, happy big 50. I'm right there with you. 72, the good year.
Yeah. Did you turn 50 this year? Is that what it was? Because I knew your
Yes,
birthday
I
was a month.
did.
Wow.
Yeah, just a little bit ago. And my wife turns 50 this month. And so we're centurions together.
Yeah. And I mean, Daryl, if you don't mind me asking, is like, I've been talking a lot about what 50 years and experiences and things, but I just feel a sense of peace right now at 50. I don't feel like I'm pushed too hard, but I'm not too comfortable, but it just feels different than my 30s and my 40s. I don't know if you can resonate with that.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
You're a
Yeah, hear me?
little
I'm into
there you are.
one bar land. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Yeah, one bar. Okay. Yeah, for okay, good. So next to 28, somewhere in that area. When I was young, in my teens and stuff, and I saw 50-year-olds and 55-year-olds, I thought, how old? Wow, they're so much older than me. I don't feel that at all. Like I just feel like the 50 is not even the new 40. It feels like even younger than that for me because I'm very much in touch with tech as you are, and I'm in touch with the modern music, and I never gave up on trying to stay relevant and staying involved in what's new and what's whether the trends and things like that. Now there's certain areas that I don't understand, like gossip and you know social trends and stuff like that, like as much because it feels like a lot of that stuff is just temporary, fads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel energized. I feel alive. I feel great because of this app. I feel like I've been requiring a certain kind of voltage and energy style to fill my business and make profit. But there's always been a part of me that I only got to run into a person a few times a year that would talk these deep talks with me or to have these spiritual moments with me and things like that. It was very rare and on occasion. And it's though I plugged into a source of power that's the right frequency and the right energy. And because of that, I think I feel younger now. I feel just more full.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's the case for you, but I just feel full.
Honestly, I used to think that 50 you're old. Actually, I remember when I was 20 and thinking 30 was old, but one thing I can definitely say about I don't feel old. And I definitely don't feel like I look old. And I don't perform old. I mean, I still can run.
Mhm.
I still can jump. I can still do a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah.
like at 50 years old, I mean, getting into martial arts and getting into jujitsu, let me tell you, you do feel your aches and pains when you're rolling, but I can definitely tell you that being
Nice.
able to still do it, you know, I haven't done it in a
Yeah.
while, but but what I can say is like your ability is really a derivative of your curiosity. As long as you stay curious, you're going to be youthful. You're going to stay youthful in so much. It's just when you accept things for what they are all the time and that's all that there's ever going to be. That's the difference I feel. Um and I'm young-minded.
Age is just a choice.
Yeah, I'd
Age
hear
is just a choice.
absolutely. I can remember hearing my
You're
relatives and my aunts and uncles saying, "Oh my God, when I'm 50, it's just I'm not young anymore. I'm not," and just watching these people age drastically. And I don't refer to it like that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm good. Go ahead.
that gives credit to perception is the reality, right? If
Mhm.
age is a choice, then perception is a reality for fact. And your perception of how old you are on the inside is exactly the reality that is projected to the outside. And your aches and pains are a result of your outside, right? And so, and all of the kinds of things. And I'm not mocking people that have back problems and aches and pains and things like that. We all, everybody has a little bit of things here and there that is going to kick in from age. And I'm not saying, anybody's above anybody. But if you don't use it, you lose it. And that includes your perception of your youth.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it just, long as you're staying curious, long as you have a thirst to learn, you have a thirst or hunger to experience. These are the things that make real differences in life. I can tell you, it's not about your wealth. It's not about your network. It's about the experience that you really can appreciate in the now and for later, like I
So
said,
good.
like we have the pleasure to record our voices. Like I said, my kids, my grandkids, or I'm going to be an ancestor at some point, and there's a place where it's like, yo, my great grandfather or whatever, I see him in different stages. I've heard him, and
Right.
and that's a huge thing.
100%. Yes, I love that. That's the way we all need to look, right? Is not about just who we touch today, but whose life we affect through the genes, through the fact that we impact each other through epigenetics, and how we basically have a funnel that is being fed by who we are.
Absolutely.
That funnel is depending on who we are. Yeah, I want to write a book about that sometime. About the concept of the individual funnel inside the cyclone of funnels that we all are.
Right.
Because I can visualize a whole lot of things based on that. But I just wanted to jump up here with you, Jason, and just be beside you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Wisdom.
You're one of the most highly respected people in my arsenal of people and network. I really do appreciate. And I'll probably be reaching out to you tomorrow about what we talked about the previous day about making content and making a specific episode. So I will be doing that, and contacting you what days possible for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to do a little, that would be great. Yeah. If we could line up our calendars. And I also want to look at like Web3 and, protecting our content as content creators without having to have necessarily a platform and talk about, is that even possible? Will it be able to
absolutely
be like that?
Possible? Oh my God, I've got so much. Just to give you all a snippet about Web3. Web3 decentralizes these monopolized companies that have a grip on your creative works. And when you have NFTs, when you learn about the blockchain, learning about the VR space. I mean, I've been working, I don't want to say it's not necessarily secret, but I've been working on making a gallery in the VR space to take my content. And I even told people, like, look, you're going to see this. You're going to see art, music, podcasts. You're going to see it where, like, I pay for Podbean, which I'm probably going to be leaving, and I'm contemplating Buzzsprout, but not having to have a company like that who has a lot of control about your distribution and your rights. So Web3 is barely scratching the surface on people's minds, but for those of us who are pioneering in it, it's like, this is the time where you could be a part of, say, like Bitcoin. Let's go back to 2007 or 2010, excuse me. And imagine if you would have knew about Bitcoin.
I even look at it like WordPress.
Yeah, or WordPress.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like WordPress too. When you started out with WordPress, it was the first place that you could build a thing inside of kind of a structured thing, and then you can move it to wherever you want to.
Exactly.
I call it portability. You can make it portable. And so if you own your own content, you can make it as portable as you want. And I got to say to Dio, she has made our content portable here. You can download your things and use them. In other programs, I haven't exactly done that. So I just love the abundant mindset that she has and what she's building here. It's really awesome.
Absolutely. It's very,
Thank
very
you for
important.
having me, by the way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daryl, for coming on up. So if anyone else wants to come up, I would suggest doing so because I'm only going to keep the airways open just a little bit. I do have to get to work. I do have to take care of business. So if there's anyone in the audience right now that wants to come up, well wish, sing, whatever you like, I appreciate it all. Just to give a few shout outs. It's good to see Nigel McKnight. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Andrew Johnson, a brand new follower of mine. Ismail, thank you so much. Hakeem, good to see you. Shane Cottle, Big T, Jamelia, Tracy, Terry, Daryl, Laura Novinsky. Hey, good to see you. Curtis J, Kayla. And, also on the YouTube side, thank you to my wonderful woman being a supportive, amazing partner. A good friend of mine, Gio, I haven't talked to since probably a couple months, shout out to that guy. And also Lulu, Shonda, thank you also coming out and all the people. So what's going to be taking place for me from here on out? I am going to be going through some restructuring a little bit. I am definitely working with brand new business. So my time is going to be strained a little bit, but I will continue to push to being the professional because, you can mark my words. I will soon be a TEDx speaker. I will be speaking on major stages. And I know for a fact my content is valuable and I'm doing everything I can from web design. Building a web page takes a long time, making connections with followers and subscribers, real people. I'm not above reproach, and look at if you're watching me on YouTube right now, the picture quality, like if you look at today, as opposed to go back probably 7 months ago or 6 months ago on YouTube, just now I feel like, wow, I am looking like a pro, like people I watch on YouTube that look professional. So that's the thing is, becoming a professional in your own life, you're professional, you're all of you, you're all encompassed. Well, anyhow, that's all the time since nobody else is going to come up. I did have a few messages. Let me see. I have Kelly. She says, I'm in a waiting room, but it looks like your birthday. Happy birthday, Jason. Thank you, Kelly. Also a content creator that I appreciate. Graciela Moore, Sonia Sandera, thank you so much. Anyhow, well, I'm going to get going and I've got to get back to doing business, but thank you for sharing your morning. We've got one speaker before I leave. All right, Laura, I'll let you on up and see what you got to say. And 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Laura. Good to see you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you, Laura. So good to see you again. I was just listening to your show a little while ago before I came on air, so I did check you out today.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was listening to yours too, and I didn't get on because I was answering a bunch of questions for my dad because I was helping him out. But yeah, just wanted to say hi and tell
Thank you
you
so much. I
thanks for being
definitely.
part of the wisdom community and sharing your wisdom. And yeah, can't wait to hear from you again.
All right. Thanks, Laura. We'll see you next time. All right, everybody. I'm going to be closing out. You too. I'm going to be closing out the show. I'll be making more content. I might be making an episode tomorrow. It really depends on a few things. I'm working on some things in business, but be on the lookout. I am going to be creating. I'm going to be working on my man-to-man series, and I want to specifically focus on men in relationships. I want to help you guys. I want to share some of my experience and the things that can help you either in your marriage, relationship, or even if you're trying to date, the kind of partner, family, responsibilities. These are things that I'm going to be talking about man to man. I'm still going to be making Rise and Grind. Also, I do have an announcement. My co-host, Mr. No Show, we both have agreed we're approaching season 4 on Blank Canvas. So we'll be producing that once a week or once every other week. So we're going to be doing an hour for all you to celebrate, to be a part of, and taking on, different issues. I think the episode we're going to be making is called The Goalpost. It's going to be talking about your goals and how to be okay with what you have now as a goal to really make better. So anyhow, I got one more. Mark Childs. Wow, I haven't seen you in a little while. I think I heard you the other day. Was it yesterday? All right. So one last speaker, and then I'm gonna go. Mark, good to see you, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good, good. I haven't seen you on in a little while, so good to see you back on Wisdom.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Yeah, I took I guess but I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. Was there
Back on.
Yeah. Was there anything you want to add? Because I'm gonna get ready to go soon. By the way.
I mean, I just saw that you were celebrating 50 years, so I didn't know if it was your birthday.
It is my birthday today. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Yeah, man, that was it. I was just coming on to tell you happy birthday, man.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I actually missed out on the topic of the talk, so I kind of came on for a second, and I was like, well, damn, is it his birthday?
Yeah, it's just, you know what? It's not just a celebration, but it's a reflection time of 50 years of life and sharing my experiences, you know, in brief summaries. So yeah.
I can dig it, brother. I mean, congratulations. 50 is not an easy milestone, and a lot of people aren't here to celebrate 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people that are at 50 aren't really, kind of reflective or looking back on their journey of life and where they've been. So, congratulations, man. I think 50 is a milestone, and the universe willing, I'll see the number as well one day, and I can do the same as reflect and look back on the way that you have.
All right. Thank you so much.
Go enjoy your day, and brother, go enjoy your day and stay safe out there, brother.
Yeah, you have a good one. All right, that was Mark
right,
Childs. He's also a wisdom speaker here, and I have listened to a lot of his stuff. And that's the thing is, it's like, here's one thing that I want to encourage before I really end the show. Find some talks, find some podcasts that you really enjoy, instead of just creating idle gossip on social media apps. Take the time to find some speakers out there that really can help you grow your perspective. um, I know I have helped many people broaden their perspective, addressed sometimes their lacks or even their abundance. I've really, I praise people. I trust people to be themselves. I don't expect people to be anything other than themselves. Excuse me. Anyhow, well, I think that's all the time that I have. No more speakers. So I'm going to be exiting the stage here in just a moment. So you all have a great day.